Andrew Benintendi takes a ball. Of course you like it, Brzezinski.
Someone that's been known to get into a spat or two with somebody. That was like me. It was never my fault.
Yeah. 2-0. Lost in what David Price is doing is a tremendous outing from Lance McCullers. He's into his 4th inning of relief work. He's kept the Astros in the game. The Red Sox, with Price, have kept the Astros off the board since that 3-run first. Benintendi starting the 7th with a 4-pitch walk. McCann goes out, maybe buys a little time for the bullpen to get cranked up.
The Red Sox are just begging to get an insurance run. They just want an insurance run. David Price has been so good. But with a 1-run lead, they're only one. The Astros are still 1 swing away, so they just want to get one more. At least that way 1 swing can't beat them.
And they'll buy a little more time as Mookie Betts gets ready to bat. And the pitching coach, Brent Strom, comes out again.
Tough spot when you're a pitcher and you're on the mound right now, and you know this is just designed to be a stall tactic. It's almost as if you don't hear a word the pitching coach is saying sometimes, AJ, when you're out there.
As a catcher, there was plenty of times where a pitching coach came out. I don't even know what he said because I was thinking about every other thing except for what he was talking about, because like you said, he's just wasting time to get these 2 guys ready, to get Musgrove and Davinsky ready. So yeah, it's more like blah 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 blah. Okay, cool. Let's go.
I mean, really though, what are they saying? If there's no point other than to stall,
I don't know. Like I said, I never. Last time I just tuned them out.
You got it right, like Charlie Brown's teacher.
Betts 0 for 2 with a walk. That one takes off on McCullers, who seems to have lost his touch here after the 4-pitch walk. Ball 1.
One thing we haven't been able to get into is the Red Sox ability to steal a base. This is an ideal time. McCullers struggling to throw strikes. The Houston catcher's not the best throwing catchers in the league, so this is an opportunity for the Red Sox.
Betts hits a base hit to left. Not only is Houston's catchers not the best in the league, they're in fact the worst at throwing runners out. And aggressive base running has been a strength and sometimes a thorn for Boston this year. They make a lot of outs on the bases with aggressive as they are. It looks like they've bought enough time. A.J. Hinch coming out. Lance McCullers, who is unquestionably disappointed to not make the postseason rotation. Huge performance here out of the bullpen. He hopes that Chris Davinsky can protect his line and keep it a 1-run game. Home runs mean more this postseason, as T-Mobile is guaranteeing at least $1 million for hurricane recovery efforts, with every home run hit worth $10,000. Help break $1 million by tweeting hashtag HR4HR, and T-Mobile will donate an additional $1 per tweet. Chris Davinsky in the game. Mitch Moreland to the plate. Boston looking for that insurance, clinging to a 4-3 lead in Game 3.
We saw A.J. Hinch use his only lefty in the pen and Francisco Liriano earlier, but he trusts these other righties, Davinsky and Musgrove, to get lefties out.
Speed in the bases. And a base hit to left center. They will hold the runners. Bases loaded for the Red Sox with nobody out, as Mitch Moreland picks up his 3rd hit of the afternoon. the reason that they like Devenski against left-handed hitters is because of that filthy changeup, but he goes with a fastball on the first pitch, and Moreland makes him pay.
Tried to come inside there, and yeah, Moreland inside outs it against the shift.
Perfect shift beater by Mitch Moreland. The whole left side pretty much in the infield, as long as he didn't hit it right to the third baseman. And it's just a routine ground ball to short normally, but because of the shift.
So Hanley Ramirez to the plate. A chance to break it open for Boston. Goes after the first one, strike one. 3 hits today for Hanley Ramirez. He's 5 for 9 in this series.
Not bad for a guy that didn't start game 1.
Yeah, you're right about that. Only came into game 1 when Eduardo Nunez went down with a knee injury. With the bases loaded in the 7th and 0-1 pitch. Rides inside, ball 1. Has the 3 hits today, and he has 3 hits lifetime against the man on the mound here. Chris Devenski in his first postseason, thrown into the fire in a 1-run game. McCann out for a visit.
You want to know when somebody's locked in as a hitter? Watch this take by Hanley Ramirez. A pretty good fastball in, starts as a strike. He doesn't even flinch at that ball. It is just out of the hand. That's a ball. That's how you know as a hitter, man, I'm seeing the ball great. I know exactly what this guy's trying to do to me. When you have 3 hits already and you're up with the bases loaded, that's a real nice feeling.
Digs back in with that good feeling against Chris Devenski. Bases loaded in a 1-run game in the 7th. 0-1. Ramirez takes ball 2.
Conversely, if you're on the mound against this guy, he's going to chase you out of the zone a little bit. As you can see, Devenski a little indecision on the mound and a little reluctant to throw it over the plate.
2-1. Ball 3, nowhere to put it. Of the track. A 2-run double from Hanley Ramirez. Breathing room for Boston in game 3.
Hanley Ramirez does not want to go home. He came out with the flag that we showed, believe in Boston. 4 hits today. Completely locked in, and 4 rockets. No cheap ones about it. And the Red Sox have life.
And now Devers hits it foul. Still nobody out. Red Sox had 4 runs over the first 2 games of this series. They have 6 today. took the lead on Devers' 2-run homer in the third. Orland at third and Ramirez at second as A.J. Hinch pulls the infield in. The 0-1. Musgrove ready.
For the first time, we showed A.J. Hinch. There was a little bit of look of doubt on his face, like, oh boy, what have we started? We talked about it before the game. Hey, you want to finish this off as quick as possible, but the Red Sox are alive and Fenway is alive, and just what the doctor ordered for the Red Sox.
Devers chases that change we were talking about, 1-2. That's the dynamic of a 5-game series. Maybe in a 2-0 hole facing elimination, but you win one game. You're one game from forcing a decisive game. The crowd getting a little bit restless. Time called. McCann to the mound.
Can't agree on the signs. McCann, the veteran catcher, is going to come out and have a word.
Talking about that 4-for-4 day, AJ, the Hanley Ramirez has put together, and there's not been much soft contact.
No, these are all four just great swings and just bullets off his bat. Everyone squared up, left, right, doesn't matter, center. It's a great feeling.
Good block by McCann. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
So Coney, McCann goes out to the mound to Davinsky and says, hey, this is what I got, this is where we're at, and then he comes out and throws a 42-footer. Have you ever done that?
I'm sure I have. Absolutely.
You've thrown a lot of pitches in your life.
I think McCann was a little frustrated there, though, because Davinsky kept shaking him off. And after all that, you're right. It ends up in front of the plate.
Second and third, still nobody out. A 2-2. Goes with a fastball. Missed its spot. Might have found the zone, but missed its spot, and it is called ball 3.
As a catcher, when you set up away and the pitcher misses in, most of the time the umpire won't give it to you. It shouldn't matter, but just the way it looks and all the framing stuff and all that, and a good job by McCann to try to make it look as good as possible, but you just don't get that call.
Payoff. Flips one back of third. Everything going right for the Red Sox. Rafael Devers, a teardrop of an RBI single.
Another changeup. And this is a pretty good one. It's running down and away, but Devers, I mean, one hand. Look at that coverage. This ball is a half a foot outside. Off the end of the bat. If you're a pitcher, you're feeling unlucky. If you're a hitter, that's good hitting, right? Spoiling the pitch.
Absolutely. And if the infield's back, that's probably caught by Correa, but because the infield's in, that's a knock with an RBI stake on the end.
3 in the bank already. Still nobody out. Back into that bullpen. A.J. Hinch has to go to Joe Musgrove here. Still nobody out. Runners at the corners as Chris Davinsky parts after a little bit longer conversation than you normally see.
Certainly a lot of, hey, we need you tomorrow in there, it looked like. And J.P. Morosi not only speaks Spanish and Italian, but apparently he also reads lips. So thanks for the heads up, J.P.
My pleasure, guys. Thank you.
A walking Rosetta Stone. J.P. Morosi.
Every day it's a new language with J.P. It's amazing.
Still working on English, guys.
Yeah, all right.
You're speaking the blues after that Michigan game last night, JP.
Oh,
it's okay.
I was. My bride, too.
So here's Musgrove. Infield still in for Houston. Red Sox have scored 3 times in this inning and lead 7-3. Sandy Leon. It's buzzed off of the plate, ball 1. So now the conversation, and there's still 6 outs for Boston to give, but you allow yourself to drift into the idea of a game 4 for both sides, and that is probably part of the conversation that A.J. Hinch had there with Chris Davinsky. Look, we could need you tomorrow. John Farrell will have a decision to make as far as who his starter is. Likely Rick Porcello. 1 ball, 1 strike. I mean, at this point with these 3 runs, I mean, do you even bother using Craig Kimbrell?
That's a great point, Joe. If you don't have to, boy, that's a nice little tidbit for the Red Sox to hold him back for tomorrow.
Especially important because there is no way David Price is going to throw tomorrow, right?
Well, we thought there was no way he'd throw this many innings today, and he did it. So there's for David Price's long-term health, for the health of his arm, there's no way that David Price can pick up a ball tomorrow. I wouldn't think, Coney.
David Price is starting Game 5 in Houston at this point. He's stretched out.
54 pitches today for him, and 4 scoreless relief innings. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Sandy Leon. Musgrove comes home. A pop fly. In right field, Reddick. Ramirez tagging from third. That ball not deep enough. And Leon, the first out of the inning. From Houston's perspective, it'll most likely be Charlie Morton if this does in fact get to a game 4. Jackie Bradley.
Did yet another mound meeting here with McCann, Musgrove.
And while that visit takes place, I want to remind you that the ALDS continues tonight on FS1. Yankees and Indians at 6:30. The Indians going for the sweep in that one. And tomorrow, a doubleheader on TBS. Nationals and Cubs. Boy, looks like the Nationals are back in that series with a come-from-behind win last night. The Dodgers convincing over the first 2, routing the Diamondbacks in both games. First pitch to Jackie Bradley. Well, called ball 1.
We talked about that moment for the Red Sox that could turn the series. One swing by Bryce Harper last night against the Cubs. Looks like it changed the momentum for that series with the long home run off the Cubs.
How about the Indians come back in game 2 of that series and all the stuff that's come after, thrown in Joe Girardi's direction with his decision not to challenge a play where it was called a hit batsman, probably should have been challenged and overturned to be a foul ball. Grand slam from Francisco Lindor followed. They'd eventually win that game in 13. 1-1.
Well, it's a great point. I mean, a lot of controversy in New York surrounding the Yankees and Joe Girardi, and the following day in his press conference, he owned it, admitting that if he had to do over again, he would make the challenge, especially with 2 in his pocket at that point.
Well, he had nothing to lose right there. That's not why they lost the game, but it is a big help to the Cleveland Indians.
Good stop over there by Gurriel.
But if you have those 2 challenges, it was in the bottom of the 6th, so I believe at that time he had 2 left in the 7th, or I think it is at least that they give him to the crew chief.
You're right.
So why not? I mean, you got nothing to lose. At the very least, they just confirmed that he got hit by a pitch and you lose nothing. And good for Joe Girardi for standing up and admitting it. I know at the beginning he said rhythm and pitcher and he didn't get a good angle, but at least he came back and admitted it, and you deserve some credit for that.
2-1.
Well, when you play in major markets, you know, the best recipe is always just being a stand-up person. Stand up and take it. Because that's what those guys the scribes look for. If you're the type of guy that's not in front of your locker, no matter whether you're a player, manager, if you're not in front of your locker on a bad game, and you're not a stand-up guy, boy, that puts a bullseye on your back.
You guys both know that well. You played in both of the noted big American League East markets, New York and Boston. AJ, you spent some time here in Boston.
Yeah, they couldn't wait to get rid of me, Joe. I guess I wasn't a stand-up guy, even though I stood up and took all the questions. Look, I get what you're saying, Coney, and yes, that is part of it. But someone once told me it's better to say anything than not say something. If you don't say anything to the media after a good or bad game, they can make up whatever they want. So at least say something.
Here's a 2-2 pitch. High fly ball, right field line, towards the corner. It's gone off of the glove of Reddick. Jackie Bradley, a 3-run home run to start the party in Boston. Reddick was robbed of a home run earlier by Mookie Betts in right. He almost returned the favor there, but it bounces off his glove, and just like that, it's 10-3 Red Sox. Bogarts, strike one.
And again, the shape of Fenway Park comes into play, because this is not a home run anywhere else. But because of Pesky's pole in the really short porch and right, the ball goes off Reddick's glove and into the stands for a 3-run homer for Jackie Bradley, and all you can do is shake your head at this point for the Houston Astros.
Bogarts to left center field. Marwin Gonzalez a reaching grab, 2 out.
Well, you get an interesting view. Josh Reddick knows that corner. He came up with the Red Sox and played a little right field when he broke in, and you could see he chose to kind of use his leg to brace running into the wall, and I'm not sure if that jarred the ball out of his glove or not. It's such a short wall over there. If he goes full speed, he'll tumble over it, maybe hurt himself. So he chose to kind of drive his leg into the wall, and I'm not sure if that jarred the ball out of his glove or not.
Great effort nonetheless. It just popped out.
Pedroia grounds it foul, and it's 0-2.
Once again, as you see right there, the only way to slow himself down is to stick his leg against the wall.
And that's probably not a home run, actually. If he doesn't knock it into the stands, that ball probably stays in the park.
I think him worrying about running into the wall, he probably had a little more room than he thought.
Pedroia hits a high fly ball to left center field. Gonzalez on the run to the track, and he makes the catch shy of the wall. But the Red Sox bat around in the 7th inning. A 6-run swing in front of that right field wall over this afternoon, and they're making plans for Monday at Fenway.